Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Nargis Training Wali from Rehan AI Teacher Training Institute Batch 21. Today we are going to discuss a very exciting and informative topic, the secret to lasting habits with ChatGPT. First of all, we add ChatGPT. Hello ChatGPT.
Hey, I'm here and ready to help. Just let me know what you'd like to discuss or what aspects of habit building you want to focus on, and we can get started.
We are going to discuss a topic, the secret to building lasting habit.
Absolutely. Lasting habits are all about consistency, small steps, and understanding how motivation and environment plays a role. If you'd like, I can break down a few practical strategies, or we can explore how ChatGPT can support you along the way.
My first question is, what is a habit and how does it form?
That's a great place to start. So, a habit is basically a behavior we repeat regularly, often subconsciously, in response to certain cues or triggers. It forms when we consistently link a specific action to a context or feeling, and over time, the brain automates that pattern. So, it's really all about repetition and the cues we attach.
Why are habits important for personal success?
Yeah, that's a key point. Habits basically shape our daily actions, and our daily actions add up to long term results. So, when we have good habits like regular exercise, reading, or planning, we're consistently nudging ourselves toward our goals. And that kind of momentum is what drives success.
How long does it usually take to build a lasting?
That's a really common question. So, the timeline can vary a lot. Some research suggests it takes about 21 days, but more recent studies say on average it might be closer to 66 days, or even longer, depending on the complexity of the habit. So, it's really about consistency and patience.
What is the difference between good habit and bad habit?
That's a great distinction to make. So, a good habit is something that benefits you. It helps you reach your goals, improves your well being, or supports your values. A bad habit, on the other hand, might hold you back. It's something that might feel good short term, but harms you in the long run. So, it's really about the outcome and impact of that repeated behavior.
Why do people struggle to maintain new habit?
Yeah, that's a big challenge. Often people struggle because they try to change too much at once, or they rely too much on willpower instead of making small, manageable steps. Plus, if there's no clear cue or reward, it's easy to lose track. So it really takes planning, consistency, and patience.
What role does motivation play in building habits?
Motivation is definitely important, but it's kind of a spark, not the fuel for the long haul. In the beginning, motivation helps you start, but once it fades, because it naturally does, habits stick when they become automatic and tied to cues or routines. So motivation gives you the push, but systems keep you going.
How does the brain store habit?
Great question. So the brain stores habits in a part called the basal ganglia. As a behavior is repeated, neural pathways form, making the action more automatic. So over time, the habit is basically hardwired and it runs on autopilot, saving mental energy.
Why is consistency more important than intensity?
Yeah, exactly. Consistency is key because small actions repeated regularly create lasting change. Intensity can burn us out or overwhelm us, but when we do something small every day, it just compounds. So the steady pace wins in the long run.
How do rewards affect habit formation?
Rewards are really powerful. When we get a positive outcome or a little celebration after a behavior, it reinforces that action. Basically, the brain links the habit to a sense of satisfaction, so you're more likely to repeat it. That's why even small rewards can get you hooked on a habit.
What is the best way to start a new habit?
Yeah, a great way to start is to keep it super small and super specific. Pick just one tiny action, tie it to an existing routine, like after brushing your teeth, and stay consistent. Then, once that feels natural, you can build on it.
Why should people start with small habit?
Starting small is really about building momentum and avoiding overwhelm. When a habit is tiny, it's easier to do consistently, and that consistency builds confidence. Then, once you've got that routine locked in, you can expand and grow it.
How can reminders help in maintaining habits?
Yeah, reminders are super helpful because they keep the habit top of mind. When you get a nudge, whether it's a phone notification, a sticky note, or an app alert, it helps you remember to take that small step. And over time, that repetition reinforces the habit.
How does setting clear goals help in habit building?
Yeah, setting clear goals is really important because it gives you a specific target to aim for. When you know exactly what you want, like a certain number of steps, a daily reading time, or a habit streak, you can measure progress, stay motivated, and see how far you've come.
What daily routines help strengthen habits?
Absolutely. Daily routines give your habits a structure. They anchor them in your day. When you do something at the same time or alongside another task, it becomes easier to remember and less reliant on willpower. So the routine acts like a backbone for your habit.
Why are bad habits difficult to break?
Yeah, they're tricky because they often give us a quick reward, even if it's short term. Plus, they're usually tied to strong emotions or familiar cues, so they feel automatic. Breaking them means disrupting those patterns and replacing them with something better, which takes a lot of patience.
What strategy help replace bad habits with good ones?
One really effective strategy is to identify the cue and then replace the habit with a healthier alternative. So, for example, if stress triggers a bad habit, you could swap it with a short walk or breathing exercise. And then again, keep it small and reinforce it with rewards so you stay motivated.
How does environment influence our habits?
Yeah, environment is huge. When your surroundings support your habit, like having workout clothes laid out or a clear workspace, it reduces friction and makes it easier. But if your environment has triggers for bad habits, it can pull you in that direction. So, shaping your environment is a big lever in habit building.
Can accountability partners help break bad habits?
Absolutely. Accountability partners are really powerful because they provide support, encouragement, and a bit of a check in. Knowing someone else is rooting for you or asking about your progress can keep you on track, especially when motivation dips.
What role does self-discipline play in habit change?
Self discipline is like the steady engine behind habit change. While motivation can waver, self discipline is what keeps you taking action even when it feels tough. So, strengthening that inner discipline helps you push through setbacks until the habit sticks.
How can tracking progress improve habit consistency? Consistency.
Yeah, tracking progress is really motivating because it gives you a concrete sense of how far you've come. When you see your streaks or how many days you've done something, it reinforces that positive behavior. Plus, it helps you spot patterns so you can tweak things if needed.
Why is patience important when building habits?
Patience is really crucial because lasting change takes time. You won't see overnight results, and there will be bumps along the way. So, when you stay patient, you give yourself the space to learn, adapt, and let those habits become second nature.
What happens when someone misses a day of their habit?
Yeah, that's totally normal. Missing a day doesn't mean failure, it's just a slip. The key is not to let that derail you. Just get back on track the next day without self judgment. It's the long term pattern that matters most.
How can people stay motivated during difficult times?
Yeah, that's a tough one. During difficult times, staying motivated often means reconnecting with your deeper why this habit matters to you. Also, give yourself grace, focus on small wins, celebrate progress, and remember that it's okay to adjust your pace.
What is the role of mindset in maintaining habits?
Yeah, mindset is huge. If you have a growth mindset, believing you can improve and learn, you're more likely to keep going when challenges arise. On the other hand, if you think habits are just fixed traits, you might give up more easily. So, a positive, adaptable mindset really fuels persistence.
How do successful people use habits to achieve their goals?
Yeah, successful people often rely on habits to build daily momentum. They break big goals down into small, repeatable actions, and they embed those actions into their routine. By staying consistent with these little habits, they keep making progress, even when motivation dips.
Tell me some examples of powerful daily habits.
Sure, some powerful daily habits might be things like morning exercise, daily journaling, reading for 20 minutes, planning your next day each evening, or practicing gratitude every night. These small, consistent actions add up to big results over time.
How can morning routines improve productivity?
Yeah, morning routines are awesome for setting the tone of the day. When you have a structured routine, like waking up, exercising, or reviewing your goals, you start with focus and intention. It reduces decision fatigue and you feel more in control, which boosts productivity.
How do habits shape a person's identity?
Yeah, that's really profound. Over time, the habits we stick to actually become part of how we see ourselves. When we regularly act in line with a habit, like being an early riser or reader, we start to think of ourselves as that kind of person. So habits really shape identity by reinforcing who we believe we are.
Can technology help people build better habits?
Oh, definitely. Technology can be a huge ally. Apps can send reminders, track progress, help you set goals, or even gamify your habits. So when you have those digital nudges, it just makes staying on track a lot easier.
How can people stay consistent when they lose motivation?
Yeah, that's a really common struggle. One way is to focus on the process, not just the outcome. So even if you don't feel motivated, just showing up is key. You can also tie your habit to something you enjoy or build in small rewards. And just remember, progress is progress, even when motivation dips.
What habit has changed uh, life the most?
Ooh, that's a big one. I think for a lot of people, something like a daily exercise habit or a consistent morning routine really changes the game. It builds structure, energy, and a sense of control, and that ripple effect just transforms other parts of life too.
What challenges do you face when forming new habits?
Yeah, a big one for me has been consistency. Sometimes life gets busy and it's easy to let it slip. Also, balancing too many big changes at once can be tough because you feel stretched out. But once I keep it simple, I really start to see the payoff.
What is the biggest secret to building habits that last?
I think the biggest secret is focusing on small steps and being kind to yourself. When you keep things tiny, consistent, and tied to a clear cue, it becomes a natural part of your life. No need for perfection, just steady progress.
Thank you so much, ChatGPT. It's very useful information to given me.
You're so welcome. I'm really glad it was helpful. If you ever want to dive deeper into any of these ideas or need more tips, I'm here for you.
I hope everyone watching or listening feels inspired to explore their own creativity. Thank you once again. Stay
Yes,
stay
exactly.
creative, keep exploring. Goodbye.
Absolutely. Keep that creativity flowing and take care.